Hi everyone! So today I thought it'd be fun to, I don't know how I'm going to title this video, but basically what I'm going to be doing is ranking the powers of the Umbrella Academy siblings. But I'm going to be doing my ranking a bit differently, but that goes into my rules and parameters. And if you don't want to hear that and you want to get straight into the ranking, then you can skip to, I'll just put on the side, the timestamp right here. Otherwise, I'm going to get straight into my rules and parameters. First off, I'm only going to be going over the Umbrella Academy siblings from like season 1. I'm not going to be doing any other characters that end up coming in with powers and stuff, just to keep things simple and easy. Also, breaking down how I'm going to actually be doing my ranking. I'm not going to do it how I normally do it, which is just give everyone a number. I'm going to be giving them points based on each category I have, kind of like what I did with this video, so that the final score can be a bit more anonymous to me and we can have fun and see like at the very end who ends up getting the highest score. So basically for each category I'm going to be giving them between 1 to 5 points, and now I'm going to tell you each category and break those categories down, but I promise it's very quick. The first category I have is practicality, and basically that's like, what is it like living with those powers day to day? Is it more of a nuisance trying to navigate around your power, or is it very easy for you to live a normal life and also have your powers? When I say normal life, obviously their lives aren't normal, but I mean like, can you cook breakfast easily? Can you, walk down the street easily without stairs and stuff? Like, does your power hinder you having a normal life? Second category I have is strength, and that's basically how powerful is your power in general. How much destruction or how much good can your power do when you're using it? And the last category I have is versatility, and basically this is how good is your power up against other powers that are not like your own. Does your power seem to, only be good during certain situations? Like, does the weaknesses of your power outweigh the strengths of your power to the point where you have a hard time defeating people whose powers are different than yours? And those are the only categories I'm going to be ranking each of these siblings on and giving them points in. I just wanted to do 3. I thought it'd be fun, simple, something cute. As always, this is a spoiler warning. I'm not necessarily going to be going into the story of each season of Umbrella Academy, but I will be using plot points to justify why I'm giving them certain points in each category. So if you haven't seen the show, or you haven't seen the show in a while and you don't want me to spoil anything you possibly haven't seen, then this is your spoiler warning right now. Now let's get into the ranking. So the first sibling I have is Klaus, which Klaus is my favorite sibling. Him as a person is just very funny to me, but I'm not gonna let that, take away from how I'm gonna rank his power. So again, first category is practicality. What is it like living with this power? And for Klaus, it obviously seems like very hard to live with the fact that he sees dead people all the time. I can imagine that it could be very difficult navigating the world and not necessarily knowing who is here and who is not, or having to especially interact with dead people as a child. So as for practicality, I'm going to give it a 2. I just simply think that having to navigate the world and not knowing who is here and who is not here could definitely be a hindrance, especially when it comes to forming relationships with people. Because what if you're standing in line about to grab coffee and you're talking to someone, and then at a certain point you realize no one else can actually see this person, and now everyone else is looking at you strangely? Like things like that I feel like would hinder you being able to live a normal life. So his practicality gets a 2. Strength, I'm going to give him a 3 for strength. I think that the power can be useful. Like, for example, there is a point during one of the seasons where he's able to conjure up a bunch of people and start attacking. And also, I think one of his strengths is the fact that his power is able to bring him back to life if he dies. And I mean, him being able to use Ben definitely helps his power, but if he didn't have Ben to help him, I don't think his power is necessarily completely all that strong. So I still am going to give him a 3 because I think in certain situations it definitely can be very useful. As for versatility, I think I'm going to give him a 1 for versatility because honestly I feel like, especially when we see him throughout the show, his power up against other people's powers is just not the strongest. And I mean, you can kind of blame that on whether or not he has the ability to completely control his power as well as his other siblings. But overall, if you were to compare his powers to even, let's say, someone like Diego, Klaus's powers doesn't necessarily stand a chance up against that because it's so easy to attack Klaus. His power doesn't come with much versatility, so I'm going to give him a 1. Next up, we have 5. Practicality when it comes to living with 5's power is actually very easy. I mean, he can live a completely normal life with his powers, so I'm going to give him a 5. In fact, I feel like his powers would honestly help him. Like, could you imagine being able to go from your bed to taking a shower, then downstairs without having to do so much as walk there? It seems more like a help than a hindrance when it comes to normal life. So yeah, he's getting a 5. Next up, we have strength. Now, I wouldn't say that 5's power is strength based. I would say 5 is trained in hand-to-hand combat, and so he uses his power to help him with hand-to-hand combat. So when it comes to the strength category, I'm not going to be ranking his strength based off of someone like Luther, whose strength is physical, but I will say that for how he uses his power against people when he is having to fight, his strength is for sure a 4. You know, if someone is coming at you and you're able to disappear and reappear in a way where they can't ever touch you, you're always going to be the one with the upper hand. So that's why I'm giving it a 4. Now we have the versatility category, and I feel like 5's power is very versatile when it comes to how he battles against other people with powers. Of course, again, there is some downsides since his power purely helps him to displace himself in time. But with how well 5 is able to use his power to his advantage up against other people, I give him a 4 again. The reason I wouldn't give him a 5 is because I feel like there still is some weaknesses. Like, for example, if he were to go up against someone like Victor, unless he uses his power to teleport himself to somewhere else away from the radiation blast that Victor can create, his power isn't helpful in those situations. So yeah, that's why I'm going to give him a 4. I hope that makes sense. Next up is Ben. When it comes to practicality of living with Ben's power, from what I understand about Ben's power, he can have a normal life the same way that 5 can have a normal life. He is able to put his tentacles back into his back and you wouldn't even know they were there unless he let them loose. So again, he gets a 5 for practicality. When it comes to strength, his tentacles are very strong and he honestly uses his tentacles along with hand-to-hand combat to increase his ability to fight people, because he's able to keep people away from him with his tentacles and also attack with them at the same exact time. And so I feel like for a power, that is a pretty powerful power to have. So I'm going to give him a 4. Actually, I'm going to give him a 5 because I feel like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bump 5's strength up to 5, and then I'm going to also give Ben a 5, because I feel like when I'm thinking about strength, their strengths are different, but the way that they use their power enables them to be able to have a certain amount of strength that allows them to win very easily when it comes to the battles that we see them do in the show. So I'm giving them both a 5 in the strength category. Now moving on to versatility, it's kind of hard to do this because obviously the Ben from the Umbrella Academy is not alive, and I don't want to base most of my ranking off of the Ben from the Sparrow Academy, but I kind of have to because that is the main place I truly get to see Ben's power in action. And so when it comes to versatility against other people's powers, I think I will give Ben a 5 simply because I've seen him hold his own when he is able to fight other people, and I'm specifically talking about Ben from the Sparrow Academy. We've also seen Ben from the Umbrella Academy be able to hold his own, but when there was fights between the Sparrow Academy and Ben had to use his powers, it was always like it was very easy for him to be able to dominate what he was doing. The last season gets a bit iffy because of the storyline that takes place, but again, I'm going to give Ben a 5. Next up, we have Luther. As for practicality, I'm going to give Luther a 1 in practicality because, I mean, in the show, we can already see that it gets a bit iffy for him to be able to go around his day-to-day life. His strength, though it is a good superpower to have, you know, now that he has like the body of an ape, it just kind of makes it a bit harder for him to have a normal life within society. So yeah, I'm gonna give his practicality a 5. Next up, we have strength, and I mean, since Luther's power is strength, I would say his strength does come in handy, but when you compare his strength to the strength of even 5 or Ben when it comes to the battles that Luther has participated in, it seems like honestly he doesn't do as well of a job, in my opinion, from what I've seen in the show. Like, yes, to a certain point he can hold his own, but when he is in battle, it seems like he gets defeated quite easily. So for that, I'm going to give him a 3 in strength. As for versatility, I'm also going to give him a 3 for the same reasons I gave him a 3 in strength. Like, up to a certain point, his power is good. He's able to use his strength to his advantage, but it seems like even though he has that strength, he is easily defeated. You would think Luther's power would be more versatile, but it's not. So I'm going to give him a 3. Next, we have Victor. As for Victor's practicality, I think again, I'm going to give him a 5. I feel like practicality is a very easy category to win a 5 in because it's like it's based on if your power affects your day-to-day life. And I feel like I'm not going to factor in the fact that Victor had to learn how to use his power at a different age other than his siblings, because if he didn't have to do that, his power is very easy to live with because it is something that he can turn on and turn off, unlike Luther, whose power is always on display. So yeah, he's getting a 5. As for strength, I have to give him a 5. I don't think I could really give him anything less than a 5 because Victor's power being able to cause an apocalypse. So I mean, I don't feel like that needs any more explanation. As for versatility, I'm just thinking about the scene from, I believe, the second season where Victor is up in the sky and he literally takes out an armies worth of people. And I know a lot of those people didn't have power, but I feel like the only person who can truly match what he has going on is Lila. And that's purely because Lila's power is the ability to be able to take on the power of other people. So I'm going to give Victor a 5. Next up, we have Diego. As for practicality, again, I'm going to give Diego a 5 because his power, he's just able to again turn it on and off. It doesn't affect his day-to-day life in a negative way at all. As for strength, I think I will give Diego a 4. I think his power allows him to be very powerful because I don't know, if I have a superpower, I'd want one that is more equipped for long distance combat than one that is hand-to-hand combat. I feel like it's easier to win that way depending on what it is. And I think because Diego's power allows him to be able to be good at long distance combat, he is able to have like an element of surprise at times. And because part of his power is precision, I feel like that adds to its power. But the only reason I'm not giving it a 5 when it comes to strength is because though his power is precision, it's like once he's thrown it and it's locked onto a target, once that target has picked up on what is happening, they can move. But yeah, I'm going to give him a 4 when it comes to strength. And as for versatility, I think I'm going to give Diego a 3 when it comes to versatility. And that's because I was thinking about his powers compared to someone like 5. Though he can do long distance combat, time and time again during the show, I felt like he can hold his own, but only against certain powers. Like, for example, if he was going up against someone like Sloane, it would be very easy for her to defeat him. So I'm going to give him a 3. Last but certainly not least, we have Allison. So as for practicality, again, I'm going to give Allison a 5. It is very easy for her to live with her powers. In fact, there's a certain period of time where she doesn't even use her powers. You don't know Allison has a power until she activates it. So she gets 5. Next, we have strength. When it comes to the strength of her power, I think I'm going to give Allison a 4 because when her power is in use and it is used correctly, she's able to get what she wants. That is basically a part of her power. She's able to make people do whatever she wants with her power. So I'm going to give her a 4 because of that. As for versatility, I think I'm going to give her a lower score for versatility because we've even seen it in the show time and time again. It's been very easy for people to turn her power against her or to stop her from using her power. At the end of season 1, Victor stops her from being able to use her power in a way that almost, X's her. So I think for that, I'm going to give the versatility of her power a 3. Now I'm going to calculate everyone's score and reveal everyone's score to you. So I'll be back in not even 2 seconds. Okay, so I've tallied up everyone's score and now I'm going to reveal everyone's final score to you. So first up, we have Klaus and his final score is 6. Next, we have 5 and his final score is 14. Then we have Ben and his final score score is 15, which I should say is the highest amount of points you can get with my point system that I used. Next, we have Luther, and his score is 7. Then we have Victor, and his score is 15. Then we have Diego, and his score is 12. Lastly, we have Allison, and her score is 12. So as for the most powerful Hargreaves sibling, it is a toss up between Ben and Victor. Honestly, I feel like, I don't know, I was a bit iffy about Five's category because I just feel like Five's power, as we see in the show, is very, very useful. But I guess 14 is good because if you're comparing his power to someone like Victor's, it can't hold up, and I don't think they should be at the same level. So though I feel like Five deserves a higher score, I guess he shouldn't be as high as Victor. But then again, I want to put him as high as Victor, but I'll just leave it. Tell me your scores down below. You don't have to like break it down in every category for me. You could just be like, oh, I'd give Klaus, out of the point system, I'd give him a 13 or whatever, if you want to. You don't have to, obviously, but I'd love to hear how you would score the Hargreaves siblings. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Like if you like it, subscribe if you want to see more of me. I post every Wednesday. I always forget to say it. I do have a second channel where I post more chill videos on there. This Monday I posted a vlog because I went to IKEA and I just had a fun little day out. I also post like fashion videos or how-to videos on there if you want to go check it out. It's always linked in the description down below. I also have my TikTok and my Instagram linked down there. I post on TikTok a lot more than I do Instagram, and I post on here a lot more than I do Instagram, but both of those are down below if you want to follow me on those social media apps. But yeah, I hope you have a good weekend, weekday, weeknight, and bye!